Where do you get your protein from? The question that I've been asked a million times since going vegan. Especially since I started going to the gym regularly, it seems like a lot of people are confused about the concept of getting enough protein as a vegan. So that's why I'm here today, to answer this mind-boggling question once and for all. And also to give you some inspiration for some delicious vegan recipes. Getting enough protein and building muscle on a vegan diet is not just possible, but it's also quite easy once you get your facts straight. So if we take a look at beans and legumes, red kidney beans, for example, have 22.5 grams of protein per 100 grams. Chickpeas have 23 grams of protein. Lentils 26 per 100. Soybeans have a whopping 36 grams of protein per 100 grams. Quinoa and oats each have 14 grams of protein per 100 grams. Then if we take a look at nuts and seeds, walnuts and hazelnuts have each 15 grams of protein per 100 grams. Sunflower seeds, for example, have 21 grams of protein per 100 grams. Hemp seeds have 30 grams of protein per 100 grams. Tofu and seitan are also quite high in protein. Tofu has 13 grams of protein per 100 grams, and seitan, our lord, has 27 grams of protein per 100 grams. We also have soy chunks and vegan protein powder, which are not strictly whole foods, but they're not that processed, so they're okay. Soy chunks have 50 grams of protein per 100 grams, and protein powder, at least the one that I use, has 74 grams of protein per 100 grams. Vegan mock meats also contain a higher amount of protein, but they're highly processed, so I like to stay away from them and focus more on whole foods. Okay, now that we have an idea of how much protein is in plants, let's figure out how much protein you need. Now this varies from person to person, but as someone who is physically active and focused on muscle building, 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight is what I aim for. So since I weigh around 68 kilos, that means that my daily protein goal is somewhere around 136 grams. Another thing worth mentioning is that I do intermittent fasting 16 hours a day, and I eat 2 big meals without any snacks in between. So let's see how we can fit 136 grams of protein in 2 meals while also making sure that we don't go overboard with the calories. I used an online calculator to figure out how many calories I need based on my age, gender, height, weight, and activity levels, which comes up to around 2000 calories per day for a slight caloric deficit. Okay, let's get cooking. For the first meal, I'm making protein oats with nuts, seeds, and berries. This is something I eat on a daily basis and it never fails to satisfy me. To a bowl, I add 70 grams of instant oats, followed by 40 grams of vegan protein powder. Mine is soy-based and hazelnut flavored. Then I add a tablespoon of chia seeds for some omega-3. Try not to make a mess like I did. Then I add a tablespoon of ground flax seeds and a tablespoon of cacao. Give it a quick mix and add about 250 milliliters of unsweetened soy milk. I make sure to mix it well until everything is combined. Then I top it with a handful of walnuts and a few dates, followed by a medium-sized banana. Make sure it looks nice for the gram, and 100 grams of berries. I chose frozen, but feel free to use fresh if you have them. And my favorite part, a tablespoon of creamy peanut butter. And there you have it. This comes up to 964 calories and 62.4 grams of protein, as well as 25 grams of fiber, which will make sure I stay full for hours. And it also looks pretty. We eat this every single day. Alright, for the next meal we have a colorful Buddha bowl that is super simple to make and has everything you need. We'll start by boiling 100 grams of quinoa that I washed and strained beforehand. Then, to be efficient, we will use the same pot to steam 240 grams of broccoli. In the meantime, we will roast 250 grams of smoked tofu at 180 degrees Celsius for about half an hour. You can add any spices you like. I added nutritional yeast, rosemary, paprika, cumin, and garlic powder. To make it crispy, sprinkle some cornstarch before baking. For the sauce, mix 10 grams of tahini with 10 grams of nutritional yeast, 30 grams of unsweetened soy yogurt, and the juice of 1 lemon. When the quinoa is nice and fluffy, scoop it out in a bowl, add the tofu, 1 medium-sized red bell pepper for that vitamin C, add the steamed broccoli, 100 grams of red kidney beans. Top it all off with the creamy sauce and then sprinkle some sunflower seeds for extra crunch. This colorful meal has 986 calories and 72 grams of protein, as well as 44 grams of fiber. These two meals not only meet my daily protein requirements, but they're also full of vitamins, and as you saw, super easy to prepare and also very delicious. The high fiber content keeps me satiated for a long time. That's why I'm okay with only eating 2 meals a day and fasting for 16 hours a day. Of course, these two recipes are just an example of what you can make. There are tons of other high protein vegan recipes, but this is just what I'm having today. The first meal is something that I have every single day. It's mostly the same all the time, although sometimes I change the flavor of the protein powder or I add a different type of fruit like peaches or apples. But most often what you see here is exactly what I'm eating every day, and I'm absolutely loving it. The Buddha bowl is not something I make every day. I tend to have a bigger variety when it comes to my second meal. Sometimes I make whole grain wraps with homemade hummus and seitan. I also make bean stews or chickpea curries, pasta bolognese with soy chunks, tofu omelette, the list goes on and on. I chose this particular meal for today because it's super simple and easy to make, and it's also really delicious. And on top of that, it's really comforting, especially now that the weather has gotten colder and rainier. I hope this video was of value to you, and I hope that I never get asked again where I get my protein from. If you're vegan and someone asks you that question, point them to this video so that the mystery can be unraveled. I will go enjoy my food now before it gets cold and before my partner eats it. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
I got 99 problems, but protein ain't one.
The fiber. Tons of other vegan haikai.